Hello and welcome. This week I am doing something a little different, and that is I will be running a solo adventure. I had this idea a few weeks back, I guess a few months at this point, that I wanted to just try and do a solo sort of D&D adventure. I wasn't sure what it was going to be or how I was going to do it, but I just started looking into it a few weeks ago. During that time, I managed to find a few things online that I could try eventually. But roughly 2 weeks ago, as of this recording, I found a channel called How to Be a Great Game Master, and through that I learned of a book series known as the Fabled Lands. Now, the Fabled Lands, from what I just glanced at and reading the first few paragraphs here, seems to be a very elaborate choose-your-own-adventure games. And I am just going to, just go ahead and, I already went ahead and made my own character. Printed out a few things I will be needing for it, and got that all set up in advance. And, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and try my hand and see what happens in my adventure through the war-torn kingdom. For this particular attempt, I will be playing a character named Franklin Cartwright, and well, actually all the information should be on screen as long as I edit it properly and have everything correctly displayed on there. He is the profession of a mage, his best stat being that of magic and scouting. Upon him, he carries a rapier, a leather jerkin, and a map. There is only 16 shards to his name. That is the name of the currency in this game. And he is not very good at combat, so I will be doing my best to avoid that at all costs. Now, since this is my first character into this adventure, yes, I am starting out at rank 1, that being an outcast, which is, would that be ironic, considering the name of one of the other things I have on my channel? Now, I'll be explaining the rules as they should become necessary. But just a brief thing is, for any ability check, I will be rolling 2d6, adding them together, including my ability modifier, and as long as I beat the number displayed in the book, that should result in good news for me, hopefully. And here we go. The approach of dawn has turned the sky a milky gray-green, like jade. The sea is a luminous pan of silver. Holding the tiller of your sailing boat, you keep your gaze fixed on the glistening constellation known as the Spider. It marks the north, and by keeping it to port, you know you are still on course. The sun appears in a trembling burst of red fire at the rim of the world. Slowly, the chill of night gives way to brazen warmth. You lick your parched lips. There is a little water sloshing at the bottom of the barrel by your feet, but not enough to see you through another day. Sealed in a scroll case tucked in your jerkin is the parchment map your grandfather gave you on his deathbed. You remember his stirring tales of far sea voyages, of kingdoms beyond the western horizon, of scorchous islands and ruined palaces filled with treasures. As a child, you dreamed of nothing else but the magical quest that you were in store if you too became an adventurer. You never expected to die in the open boat before your adventures even began. Securing the tiller, you unroll the map and study it again. You hardly need to. Every detail is etched in your memory by now. According to your reckoning, you should have reached the east coast of Harkuna. You should have reached the east coast of Harkuna days ago. A pasty gray blob splatters on the map. After a moment of stunned surprise, you look up and curse the seagulls circling directly overhead. Then it strikes you. Where there's seagulls, there may be land. You leap to your feet and scan the horizon. Sure enough, a line of white cliffs lies a league to the north. You have been sailing along the coast all this time without even realizing the mainland was so close. Steering towards the cliff, you feel the boat shudder against rough waves. A howling wind whips plumes of spindrift across the sea. Breakers pound against the high cliffs. The thrower is yanked out of your hand. The little boat is spun around out of control and goes plunging in towards the coast. You leap clear at the last second. There's a snap of timber, the roaring crescendo of the waves, and then silence as you go under. Striking out wildly, you try to swim clear of the razor-sharp rocks. For a while, the undertow threatens to drag you down. Then suddenly, a wave catches you and flings you contemptuously up on the beach. Battered and bedraggled, you lie gasping for breath until you hear someone walking along the shores towards you. Wary of danger, you lose no time in getting to your feet. Confronting you is an old man, clad in a dirty loin cloth. His eyes have a feverishly bright look that is suggestive of either a mystic or a madman. Get the code word, Aristic, and turn to 20. Okay, so yes, that is one thing about this adventure is I will be collecting code words along the way. From what I can tell, like book 1, every code word, well, not that I can tell, from the information in the back of the book, every code word in this particular book starts with the letter A, and I actually bought book 2 just in case, and all the ones in that have with the letter B, so presumably each book after, I think there's like 7 or 8 books, I'd have to double check, but it's presumably each one just continues with the next letter. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down, because from what I saw in Guy's video, with the code words you collect, it results in, like, if I came across a scenario and it says, do you have this code word? If yes, go to this page. If not, continue reading, kind of thing. Now, armed with the code word ARK, turning to paragraph 20. Well, what have we here, friends? Asked the old man. He seems to be talking to someone next to him, although you are certain he is alone. Looks like a washed-up adventurer to me, he says, and answers his own question. All wet and out of luck. He carries on having a conversation with himself, a conversation that quickly turns into a heated debate. He is clearly quite mad. Excuse me, you shout above the hubbub, and in an attempt to grab the old man's attention, he stops and stares at you. Is this the Isle of the Druids? You ask impatiently. Indeed it is, says the old man. I see that you are from a far land, so it is up to me to welcome you to Harkuna. Get that eventually. But I think you may have much to do here, for it is written in the stars that someone like you would come. Your destiny awaits you. Follow me, young adventurer. The old man turns smartly about and begins walking up a path towards some hills. You can just see some sort of monolithic stone structure atop of one of them. Come on, I'll show you the gates of the world, the old man babbles. And here I have 3 options. I can either choose to follow him, explore the coast, or head into the nearby forest. Well, considering my character's been at sea for presumably weeks now by himself, low on food, and this is the only sign of anyone I've had contact with, I think it's probably best to follow him rather than just heading off on my own immediately. I'm sure I'll still get the option to explore the area or this island in a moment. Yes, because we're on the Isle of the Druids, so I'm going to go ahead and follow him, at least for now, and see what's up. 92. During your short trip upward, the old man regales you with the tale of your destiny and fate, continuously arguing with himself as he does so. You reach a hill, crowned with a circle of large obsidian standing stones. Despite the bitter wind that blows across the hills, these stones are unweathered and seem almost newly lain. Here are the gates of the world, says the mad old man. The stones are laid in such a way that they form 3 archways, each cavern with mystic symbols and runes of power. Each gate will take you to a part of the world of Harkuna. It's not that hard to say. Each gate will take you to a part of the world of Harkuna. Though I not know where, explains the old man. Abruptly he turns around and sets off down the hill, babbling to himself. His voice fades as he descends down the hill, leaving you alone with your brooding stones and the howling wind. Turn 265. So, I guess that's the tale of the old man who got away. Alone again, it seems. Okay, this one provides a picture. The gates of the world. I wonder if I can find these online, if I'll have to scan them later. There are the archways, the standing monolithic stones. There are 3 stone gates engraved with ancient ruins. Each gate is marked with a name: Yellowport, Marlock City, and Wishport. From here you can see the coast of the whole of the island, which is heavily forested. Okay, so I could go to 3 places, and 2 of them are port cities, and 1 is somewhere else. So I do have 5 options. Yeah, I can continue, well, I can explore the coastline and head into the forest, which were options I had before, or I can step through one of the 3 archways, go to one of those cities. I think... well, I don't know how these archways work yet. It might be like a one-way gate. If it's a two-way gate, that's fine, but on the off chance that it's just a one-way, I should at least take the opportunity to explore the coastline or the forest for the remainder of the day. And I would think I might have an easier time perhaps finding some food on the coastline, as I haven't eaten in a while. So, page 128 it is. You make your way across the coast. The interior of the island appears to be heavily forested. After a while, however, you come up to a bay in which a couple of ships are anchored. Already found ships. Okay, cool. Could be bad though. Could be like pirates. A small settlement nests near the beach. You make your way towards it. Oh, I found a port town. I highly doubt it's one of the 2 port towns that the monolithic archways go to. So to 195 then. Okay. Where there's a town, there's a way to make money because my character starts with 16 shards. Turning to 195. Gain the code word Aspen if you do not already have it. The trading post is a small village. Called the trading post. Okay. Set up here by enterprising settlers from the mainland. Its main export appears to be furs from the forest. The mayor, a fat Ganile fellow, who greets you personally, insists that one day the trading post will be a thriving town. It is not a lot here yet. However, a small market, a quarry, the settler's house, and the shrine to Ukuna, the huntress, goddess of nature. Okay. So I can either visit the shrine, visit the market, the quayside. It's an old-timey word that I don't know the meaning to, so I will definitely be visiting that at one point to just see what it is. There's also visit the Green Man Inn, climb the hill that overlooks town, and go inland into the forest. So we always go back to... I wonder if I had written down the page for the gateway, could I just go back to that at any point I'm here? If so, I'm going to go ahead and make a note just in case that is true. That was 65 for the gates of the world. Just gonna jot that down real quickly. Okay, so currently I'm under the assumption that while I'm on this island, I can just make my way back to the gates at any point. But until I know whether that's true or not, I'm just gonna go with the options I have here. Because it'll probably just be an option if I go into the forest to head off to the gates. So, to visit the shrine of the huntress goddess, market, quayside. Well, I've mentioned how I probably need food, so let's just stop by the marketplace first and see what they have available. Okay, here we are. 452. The trading post is a small marketplace in the village square, where half a dozen stalls sell a few goods. Items with no purchase price listed are not available locally. Okay. So there are several things here. I'm not going to read through them all unless I see something of interest. But yes, like I could buy leather, which I'm currently wearing. So I don't need to spend 50 shards on that. But like, they mentioned ring mail and chain mail. There is no price next to them, so presumably I can't buy them, but I could sell them if I had them. I am not able to buy a +1 combat weapon yet. Even if I had the money, I'm sure I couldn't buy it, because it costs 50 just to buy a weapon. Jeez, that's an expensive compass. Wow, 500 for a compass is the most expensive thing here. Okay, so not a lot. And just based on what I'm reading, it seems like food isn't really going to be an issue in this game. I'm not really sure how they could incorporate that successfully into this, but just figured I'd check. When you are finished, turn to 195, which, yes, is the town itself. Actually, I'm much like the gates of the world. I am going to go ahead and write that down as well, just so I know where the town is in the book. Well, the trading post. Okay, real quick before deciding where I want to go next from this town, I did print out the map in the book. So this area right here is where I'm at, the Isle of Druids. So ideally, I could figure out where those other towns are just by looking at this map, which I'm guessing is the map my character started with. One option was Yellowport, which is on the southern end of the island. Another option was Marlock City, which is on the southwest corner of the map, of this particular map. And then there was Wishport. Well, I'm not seeing Wishport, so maybe in another book? Not sure. But anyway, that doesn't matter right now because we're still at this port town, this trading post. So marketplace isn't too useful to me right now. Let's just go ahead and see what the quayside is. Okay. 332. The quayside at the trading post is a simple affair. Without the harbor facilities or the shipwrights of large ports, there are no ships available to buy here. But if you already own a ship, you can buy and sell cargo. Okay, so it's a ship talk kind of voice. Upon which I can buy and sell furs, grains, metals. Okay. Minerals, spices, yeah. Just supplies. Which I have none, so it doesn't matter. Prices are for single cargo units. Fill your current cargo on the ship's manifest. I do not have a ship. You can buy a one-way pass to Yellowport from here at the cost of 15 shards. Ooh, that would take all my shards, or I could just walk through the portal. Why would I ever pay to leave this island if I can just walk up to the gates of the world? I guess if you didn't know about the gates, but I know about the gates. So we already know there's a direct route between the island and Yellowport. So, and based on that, I could presume the gates are one way. So it would be possible for me to just step to Yellowport for free and sail back here if I need to. But I'm going to keep exploring this island. If you own a ship and wish to sail, turn to 155, if not, 195. Back to town. So that leaves us with the inn and the shrine before going into the forest. I will visit the shrine before going to the forest, but let's go ahead and stop by the inn first, see what they offer. The Green Man Inn costs you 1 shard a day. Each day you spend here, you recover 1 stamina point if injured, up to the limit of your normal unwounded stamina score. If you are ready, turn to... Okay, so it's literally just a way to heal. Kind of figured that'd be the case, but I didn't know they have other options like buying beer or listening to a rumor. Maybe that's more of a city thing, and this is like just starting out kind of place. So, with that, we have one more stop before heading into the forest. The Shrine of Lukuna. I can speak. 544. The shrine is set in a woodland grove. Birds twitter in the trees, and the deers dart away into the forest at your approach. A priestess is tending to a low altar, where food and drink has been laid out in honor of Lukuna, the goddess of the wilderness. She is the patron of hunters, trappers, woodsmen, and all those who seek oneself with nature. Well, I myself, Franklin Cartwright, a mage, while not particularly a mage of the forest, I consider myself more aligned with the arcane arts, would not be a god I'd be willing to just immediately join, but I'm not against nature or anything. So my options here are to become an initiate of Lukuna, renounce the worship of Lukuna. Can't really renounce what I don't have. I can seek a blessing, talk to the priestess, or leave the temple. Well, I mean, since she's here, let's go ahead and talk to her. 471. Maybe she can inform me more about her goddess. If you have the code word animal, turn to 369. If not, read on. And yes, this is the first instance where I don't have the code word yet, but it's actually the first time it's come up in my adventure. The priestess, dressed in silken robes and wearing a wreath of oak leaves, says, "I have need of an adventurer like yourself, for arcane reasons involving the secret mysteries of Lukuna." Called the right man. Arcane reasons, I'm on it. "I need the tusk of a boar, a were-boar in fact. I believe they can be found in the forest of the Forsaken, in northern Golnir." Golnir, is that... I'm just gonna assume that's on the island. In Forest of the Forsaken, north of Golnir. I'm not seeing anywhere on this map called the Forest of Forsaken. I'm assuming that it's the one here on this island, but it could very easily be somewhere else entirely. And yeah. For now, we're just gonna assume it's the forest on this island. But where's Golnir? That is not on this island. So that is definitely somewhere else. "Hunt down the were-boar and bring me a boar's tusk. In return, I will teach you how to be a better scout. If you accept this mission, acquire the code word animal." I will accept it. Not sure when I will find it, and if it's a were creature, I will likely need alchemical silver, if that's even a thing in this game, but I will go ahead and take the code word animal. And since that is questing a specific thing, I will write down it wants me to go to Forest of the Forsaken in northern Golnir. Well, until I find it, that's the end of that one. Turn to 544. Back at the shrine. Well, I don't plan on becoming an initiate, at least not yet. So before leaving, let's go ahead and seek a blessing. If you are an initiate, it costs only 10 shards to purchase Lukuna's blessings. A non-initiate must pay 25 shards. I don't have that. Cross off the money and mark scouting in the blessings box in your adventure sheet. Don't have that. And not too desperate into immediately joining a god, at the very least not the first god I come across. The blessing works by allowing you to try again when you fail a scouting roll. Cool. It's good for only one reroll though. When you use the blessing, cross off the event sheet, you can only have one scouting blessing at any time. Once it's used up, you return to any branch of a temple of Lukuna and buy a new one. When you're finished, go to 544. Well, good to know if I ever come across 25 shards. The last option is to become an initiate of Lukuna. I think I'll just read the flavor text. I don't really plan on joining. And so far, it hasn't said you definitely have to do this because you turn to this page. So to page 6. to page 618. Becoming an initiate of Lacuna gives you the benefit of paying less for blessings and other services the temple can offer. It costs 30 shards to become an initiate. Well, even if I wanted to, I couldn't. You cannot do this if you already have an initiate of another temple. Kind of figured that. If you choose to become an initiate, write Lacuna in the God box on your adventure sheet, and remember to cross off the 30 shards. Remember, pay honestly. Once you have finished here, back to 544. Okay, so I've exhausted every option except the forest and stepping through a portal. So, yeah. I don't really need to read the Renounce the Warship because I had to have it before I could do it. So, I don't even think I'm gonna bother with reading that. If I had to guess, based on what I've read so far, it's like, it'll probably be pay this much to renounce your faith. Because that's how it works. So, with that in mind, I've already talked to the priestess. She gave me a quest. I cannot afford a blessing. I cannot afford to join. I cannot afford to join a religion. So, back to town. Alright, back to the trading post. That's okay. So, my options are to climb the hill that overlooks the town, or go inland into the forest. Well, I didn't overlook the town yet. Probably should have done that earlier. Page 11. Number 11, whatever. A narrow path leads up the hill, the top of which is crowned with a circle of large obsidian standing stones. Hewn from solid rock despite the bitter wind that blows across the hills, the stones are unweathered and seem but newly laid. They form 3 archways, each carved with mystic symbols and runes of power. Okay, that was how I get back to that. But I'm gonna backtrack back to town and actually go into the forest. I'm gonna head to 257 to go inland into the forest. Okay, so going up the hill took me to the gates. So there is much more to do here. Okay, well, unfortunately that's all the time I have for right now. When I pick this up next week, I am going to continue the path into the forest. However, I'm certain that's probably where the end of this Isle of the Druids ends for now, until I, finish that quest or decide to come back with money and join the goddess. But as things are, I have a question for you guys. Where do I go after I explore the rest of this island? As I have 3 options, and with little to go on other than the names of the places I can go. So, for anyone watching, please let me know where you think I should go. Should I head towards the Yellow Port, the Marlock City, or Wishport? And just to let me know what you think of this series, I do plan to continue it for, well, until my character dies, and I plan to put that off for as long as possible, because I don't want to die. And so far I'm enjoying what I'm reading. I hope you're enjoying listening to this, and just until next time, thanks for watching.